Here's what I'm doing, and I will admit, 1,000% biased. I think the kid showed things against Alabama, against first-round corners, that scored them a touchdown right before half to tie the game against Alabama. By the way, was a playoff team. And what I've seen from him all spring, Joe, I've been there. I've been at practice. I've seen him go up with one hand, okay, and spring, come down, break 2 tackles, and score. You can say whatever you want about me, and Blake's a homer, and Blake's doing all of this. Joe, there is a thing at schools, and I will use your school that you're wearing the hat of. If somebody says a breakout star, the offensive line is at Notre Dame, Joe, you start believing them. You know why? Because the history is there. I am telling you, with everything in my bones and everything in my fiber, you can believe whatever you want to believe. I'm going to take a lot of shit for this, and that's okay. Because like I did last year with Malik, I know he had 1,000 yards. It was what it was, but he didn't have any touchdowns. I'm telling you, this kid is about to go off. I'm telling you he's about to go off. Let me give you a quote from a buddy of mine in an NFL front office. He texted me this during Jaden Daniels' what do they call that when they go to the schools? Pro day. He said, Blake, I got to be honest. I don't know how far Kyren Lacy is from being a first-round pick for me. And I do think, Joe, that there's something to be said. I'm telling you, please, dear Lord, dear heavens, trust me when I'm telling you this. I am more bullish on this kid than any other kid in that program right now. Okay, I really am.
But Blake, it's fine that you like him and that you think he's going to be a really good player this upcoming year.
What you're doing with Burks.
No, but Burks has produced in a conference that typically doesn't throw the ball as much. And again, he earned all conference honors. The whole conference you're the only person I have heard talk about Kyren Lacy. Everybody with 2 eyeballs has seen Deion Burks and said, this kid is going to be one of the biggest skills out of transfer portal. Why do you think I would do that? He's going to be a top 100 pick. Look,
you know me well enough. Why do you think I would do that?
Honestly, I'm sorry to be an asshole, but because you have Trey Harris on here too. Like, there isn't a Louisiana bias in this list. Come on. It's okay to say that you think he'd be a breakout. It's okay to say that you think he would be a breakout, but to put him at 4.
Joe, the 2 games that Ole Miss lost, Trey Harris did not play.
The other part of this, okay, if you put CJ Daniels on here, I'd be fine with it. He was really productive last year, and he's transferring to LSU.
Which goes to my point in reference to when a kid is going to transfer into a new conference, I'm not putting them in there. By the way, I will continue to tell you, if you want to get on the Trey Harris thing, Joe, that offense is really good. You know that, and I know that. And if you ask Lane, what would he say about Trey Harris? They call him Baby Megatron.
We're jumping too far ahead here. I want to finish what we're talking about here with Kyren Lacy.
All right.
All I'm saying is, though, it's okay to claim a guy is going to break out. It is okay to say, you know what, I'm going to be bullish. I think that he'd be my 14th or 15th guy. I think he's going to be a breakout. But he has 500 yards, and you're placing him at 4. At 4. I didn't even put Deion Burks at 4.
Joe, we're going to talk about Emeka Egbuka. I don't give 2 Rudy Poos that the kid was hurt. I still have him very high on my list. That should not go against Kyren Lacy when you have 2 kids in your list that last year alone had about the same amount of yardage that Kyren Lacy did.
Okay, Emeka Egbuka's circumstance is completely different.
I don't give 2 Rudy, and you can't, because Joe, what if he gets hurt again? Okay, then you're going to say he's injury prone. And we can make an argument about Emeka Egbuka being injury prone. Now, the catch that he had along the sideline, Joe, that was more Odell or you know what? It kind of reminded me, speaking of your Giants, we'll talk about later, reminded me of that catch. Going up with one hand. The kid is talented. But here's the biggest thing for me about this wide receiver room. Name, other than Luther Burden, take Luther Burden out of it. You can make an argument for 15 other guys to be in your top 15.
Yeah, that's my point why Kyren Lacy shouldn't be in there. He was a 4th receiver on a team last year.
He wasn't the 4th wide receiver on that
team.
3rd. Okay. But the issue that I'm trying to bring up, if there is a position group that has more unknowns in it than arguably maybe any position group in college football, it might be this position.
It is, which is why I'm not going to put a guy in there that is a complete and utter unknown. This is my point, though, is that, yes, Deion Burks might not.
Hold on. How can you say two kids that had 600 yards receiving that you know about one and don't know about the other?
Because Emeka Egbuka had.
I'm talking about Burks, but.
Okay, but you're bringing up both of them. Emeka Egbuka had in 2022 one of the best receiving seasons, and this past year was significantly hurt and had to get tightrope surgery at the end. That he's now the number one receiver. Forget that for a second. That doesn't play into this conversation.
Throwing him the ball doesn't come into the conversation.
How many? Marvin Harrison Jr. still had one of the best receiving seasons last year, and you had Kyle McCord throwing to him. As long as he doesn't have Deacon Hill throwing him the football, I don't think it's going to be a significant detriment.
Why do you hate Deacon Hill so much? This is like the third time you brought up Deacon Hill.
Dog shit.
Oh my God.
The point I'm trying to get at here is that Emeka Egbuka had the production but got hurt, and then Deion Burks, again, all conference, and has been recognized by many up until this point, and has been acknowledged by many up until this point as a guy that is going to have a great season, and was great last year, but saw limited production because he didn't have anybody good to throw him the football. If Kyren Lacy was the third receiver at LSU and all he could muster was 500 yards, that to me is not great. At least get in the 700 range. I'm not asking for that much more of a bump. I'm not saying he can't be good.
In fairness, okay, when the game was on the line, Jaden Daniels went to two people.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.